So I'm watching this coverage all day long yesterday, and I go back and forth. I want to hear what they're saying on MSNBC and Fox News. And I saw a lot of people remarking on the Mueller report and William Barr, a lot of people. Most are predictable. You know what they're going to say before they say it, especially Fox News, where they tend to defend Donald Trump, and MSNBC, where they malign him, they kill him unfairly. But there's a guy on Fox News, Shepard Smith, and he's not a big Trump guy, to say the least. It's almost like, what is he doing there, right? Like, what is Shepard doing there? But I happen to like him. And he had a guest on yesterday that I thought was the best guest I saw all day. Anyway, in fact, I texted Jill and I said, I don't know who this guy is, Bob Bianchi.
Get him on!
I know he's been on with O'Reilly and my boy Sean Hannity all these times. And I said, Jill, you got to get this guy on. He's great. And Jill's like, okay. And I admitted I had no idea who the guy was. I thought he was great. And then you got him pretty easily, right?
Yep.
He must be a big fan of mine then.
He loves you.
That's such a lie. Anyway, here he is. He's an attorney, and he does a lot of stuff. I don't know. Bob, what exactly do you do that you're so famous? That you're on TV and Sean Hannity. What do you do?
Oh, my God, Sid. What a pleasure to be on your show. Well, listen, I guess my claim to fame was that I used to run a prosecutorial agency. I was an assistant prosecutor, and then I was appointed by the governor to be the Morris County prosecutor, which was a great honor. And I do criminal defense now. I'm a certified Supreme Court criminal trial attorney. For the last 5 years, I've been on all the networks. I regularly appear on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. So I truly, Sid, I'm truly fair and balanced.
You are, and I thought, and I mean this, and I watched probably 11 hours of coverage. It's coming out my years. I thought you were the best one I saw. Now, I preface this the same way I prefaced my conversation with Chris Matthews an hour ago, and that is I like Trump. I didn't vote for him, but I'm an adult enough to admit that he's doing a good job, and I want him to win again. So let's start right there. I like him. I want him to win again. But when Barr comes out a couple of weeks ago and says he's basically exonerated, and then even yesterday morning I watched that circus from Barr, I really thought the report would come out and he would be almost exonerated. Not even close. What am I missing?
Yeah, you see, Sid, my experience as a prosecutor and dealing with the media on high-profile cases is messaging is very important for the credibility of your investigation and your institution. So if you're going to do a press conference, which you should do sparingly, and it should be really to be very clear, direct, and specific about the facts of a case, you don't go out and cheerlead, right? You don't go out there. This is the thing that's been concerning me as a prosecutor. We have gone to a point where politics is so infused in prosecution, which is a very toxic cocktail, if you will, where people are looking, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, conservative, liberal, I don't care which side of the spectrum you're on, we should not be politicking within the prosecutorial system to use the criminal justice system to go after our enemies and to shield and exonerate the people that we politically agree with.
I could not agree more. I could not agree more. I said all morning long, he may as well have had Rudy Giuliani up there yesterday because William Barr, who's a very respectful guy, has great history going back many, many years with Bush. I thought he embarrassed himself yesterday.
Well, the biggest problem that he had with regard to his credibility, and by the way, I don't think it really affects the ultimate outcome of the report is what it is that he kind of made it appear as if Mueller left the obstruction question to him because Mueller couldn't figure it out, and that he made his decision. And that is not what that report says. It wasn't left to him at all. Essentially what Mueller was doing was saying that Donald Trump is, or the president, let me put it this way, because people get like a lightning rod when you mention a name. Hillary Clinton, boom, people have a reaction. Donald Trump, boom, they have a reaction. Any president has Article 2 constitutional powers that the ordinary person, no one else in the country has. For example, the DOJ says you cannot indict a sitting president. Whether you agree with that or don't agree with that, Mueller's basically saying, I think this was really powerful, and people were missing this point, Sid. It's on your show right now. He is saying to call him a criminal, to say he committed a crime when he cannot be indicted, Donald Trump, is unfair to the president, or any president for that matter, because they don't have any forum with which to exonerate themselves. So you'll tag them with this sticker of being a criminal, but unlike the rest of us, there'll be no courtroom to adjudicate the case.
Got it.
So here are 10 instances of issues that we had concern about, and now I'm giving it to you, to Congress, and there's a remedy there if you choose to exercise it, and now I'm out. Here are the facts. You do with it what you will.
Right. And look, I'm not Bob Bianchi or Joe Tacopina or Arthur Aidala or my beautiful wife Danielle Rosenberg, all great defense attorneys. But what I saw, what I read, what I listened to yesterday was collusion, no doubt, no collusion. No obstruction is not really true. In fact, the president tried his darndest to commit obstruction. He just got really lucky that his minions, Corey Lewandowski, Don McGahn, all these guys decided not to do it for him. If any one of those people had done what Donald Trump wanted them to do, he would have been guilty of obstruction. Yes or no?
Well, the fact that he even tries is a substantial step for which he could, even though those guys shielded him and didn't actually commit the act, just the idea that he's trying to could be a crime. But here's the thing, to the president's defense. If I were his lawyer, first of all, he should never give an interview, and that applies to anyone, whether you're guilty or innocent. That's just good lawyering. And the second piece, Sid, is that you've got to show a corrupt intent. So if he were to believe, because there was no underlying crime, and while you don't need an underlying crime, it helps with obstruction. But if you were to believe a president that I'm being unfairly attacked, the investigation is bogus, this is a national security problem for us because I can't move forward with my policy agendas, and I believe, in fact, this is not right, and it's only political, well, that's not a corrupt intent. So when you're asking McGahn and you're asking Lewandowski and those guys to go out and do certain things, if you're not doing it that corrupt intent, it's still a difficult case for a prosecutor, because whenever, as a prosecutor, you have to go in and prove somebody's state of mind, you better have solid, direct evidence.
Well, I do think those things are true. Again, I'm a fan of Trump, and I do think that he was being treated unfairly, and Comey and these folks were out to get him. I would ask you this, though. If he was completely innocent, why the day he found out from Sessions that Mueller was looking into his business, why would he sit back in his chair, slouched over, by the way, not the big tough guy that he is, and say, basically, I'm effed, I'm done, this presidency is over?
Well, the fact you asked the question shows there could be reasonable doubt. I don't know. He could be thinking that I'm going to get railroaded here. These guys have, my guy's gone. My guy to protect me from a bad or false investigation is gone. They're handing it over to a guy who's sympathetic maybe to the Democrats, and this guy's going to do what I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Is going to do what he can in order to F me. Although, listen, what Mueller said in the report is when you take what you just said about what he said to Sessions, when you take all the 10 data points that they considered potential obstruction, they said if you take any one or a combination of these, a reasonable person could conclude obstruction occurred. And that's why, very notably in the report, unlike collusion, where they're very strong and they say no way on collusion, they say we cannot exonerate him on obstruction. That's lawyer talk for there's something here.
Right, there is something there. All right, but look, legally it's over. He's won. He can do his victory lap. Politically, it could still be a mess with Congress. Is that right? I mean, legally there's nothing else here. It's done, right?
Yeah, listen, it's a victory for him that way. And now it goes into the court of public opinion. There is a process in our Constitution, i.e. impeachment. I happen to believe that if the Democrats were to go forward with that, and again, I'm just calling this as a lawyer, not as a political person, they're not going to have the votes in the Senate to be able to remove him.
Agreed.
The impeachment process doesn't require proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And remember, that was the standard Mueller's working with. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt, the highest standard, to 12 jurors, the highest standard. Even though you don't need that for the impeachment process, politically, I don't think the Democrats have the votes or the courage to go forward on something where you still haven't really shown direct corrupt intent.
I agree. So on the way out then, Bob, let's turn this thing around. A lot of Trump supporters are excited because now they feel like the other folks, the Comeys, the McCabe's, maybe Loretta Lynch, maybe Hillary, who knows, they're about to get their up in comments. Maybe they're about to go down. Do you think that is going? I've been told, by the way, that they're already putting together committees and that now Trump wants some blood. Do you think, A, they'll do it, and do you think Trump's got a chance to get some blood here in the end?
The answer to that is no, and it's very disconcerting to me. Again, Sid, we get back to the point that people are using the investigatory criminal justice process to go after their enemies. That decision, just like the decision yesterday with Mueller, is done. Comey, if anything, committed the ultimate prosecutorial sin when he got up, exonerated her from the criminal charges, but yet attacked her personally. You never do that. He could have cost her the election for doing that. But listen, this is the way I say it, Sid. You tell me if you think it's fair. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yes.
If the Mueller report is done and over and it Trump doesn't have to answer to anything, the Clinton and Comey investigation, I predicted that. You talk about Hannity. I was debating Hannity, Jeanine Pirro, all of them saying there's nothing here to charge criminally. Could you potentially think about it? Maybe think about it. Is there some evidence of it? Prosecutors don't work on cases where maybe, could be, should be. They want rock solid, direct evidence cases. That investigation's closed. This investigation's closed. Let's move on.
Got to tell you, I'm a big fan, Bob. Thought you were great on TV yesterday. Great here this morning. So hopefully you'll keep coming back. Great job. Thank you.
You got it, bud. Thanks.
Bob Bianchi here with Bernie and Sid. We got a big guest coming up next. A big surprise, I guess. We'll take a short break. We'll find out next.